Hello, and welcome to this episode of the K&Co Tech Pod. I'm your host, Shelley Kramer, Principal Analyst here at Kramer&Co. And today we're going to focus on the reality that AI is the new BI. And my guest today is Ketan Karkhanis, who's the CEO of ThoughtSpot. And ThoughtSpot is doing some really interesting things. So welcome, Ketan. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Shelley, and a big hello to everybody who's tuned in. So glad to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So before we dive in, I know that you're about 60 days into your role as a CEO at ThoughtSpot. You've had an amazing career journey. I'd love for you to share a little bit, if you would, about what that career journey has looked like and what landed you at ThoughtSpot.
Yeah, no, it's a very exciting time. The time for ThoughtSpot is now, and we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I've had a very exciting journey. Always fortunate to have worked with great people, great teams, building great products and businesses. I've spent a lot of time at Salesforce building a lot of the cloud products, including Einstein Analytics. I've had an opportunity to build supply chain products in the last startup, which was bought by another private equity. And now I got attracted to ThoughtSpot because I feel, as your subject of the show is, AI is the new BI.
Yeah.
ThoughtSpot's been leading this AI surge into BI, and very excited to what we are going to be doing for our customers in the next year.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about business intelligence and the business intelligence and data analytics market. What are you seeing out there as it relates to where we are collectively as an industry with business intelligence? I know you've got some interesting thoughts, and I think in one of our conversations you mentioned something about some people are languishing in the flip phone area of business intelligence.
I do, and I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings when I say that. But honestly, look, BI is not a new term.
Yeah.
It's been around for 25, 30, maybe sometimes people might even say more.
Yeah.
Just look at the last decade. It feels like it has not kept up with the contemporary enterprise, with the data scale, with the demands of the business users. BI today is still stuck in this definition of, I'm going to give you a dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
The world really doesn't need more dashboards. Business users don't want that. We don't want that. And I feel like the technology is not born cloud or born AI. The technology is stuck in the past supporting AI. It needs a fully ground up new approach for the age of AI and the age of born cloud. But more importantly, I have not seen a business user who tells me they are fully satisfied with every dashboards they have. But why is that? Let's just assume the dashboards are correct. But the idea of business intelligence is you ask a good question, you get a great answer.
Right.
Great answer, you have two more better questions. And you have two more better questions. You have two more better questions. This is the curiosity satisfaction. And classical tools, I call them classical because they've not moved a lot.
Yeah.
You hit what I call a cliff, and you fall down the cliff the minute you go and ask a follow-up question. So I feel like the level of opportunity to truly give every business user the answers and not just more charts is very important. And you're right, some tools today you still have to create these cubes and these data models and these complex systems, and I feel the industry has not kept up, and we are at the cusp of what I feel is a massive disruption.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I certainly agree with you there. I think that one of the things I wanted to talk about has a little bit to do with the trends that we're seeing that are shaping the future of business intelligence. And obviously this AI era that we are in is a huge part of what I think is not only shaping, but really reshaping the business intelligence industry. So talk with me a little bit about what you see happening from a trend standpoint in the industry and what you see shaping this, beyond just the fact that, oh, now we've got AI. And by the way, AI isn't new, but we've got Gen AI that's fairly new on the scene. And we've got, organizations organizations the world over scrambling to try to integrate AI into their, tech stack and all of that sort of thing. So talk to me a little bit about some of the trends that you see out there that are shaping the future of business intelligence.
The first one to me is the absolute imperative to have AI drive the BI strategy. Every organization, every CDO, every CIO, every CEO is doing that right now.
Yes.
So I think so. AI driving BI is now a core company initiative in many companies. Number
Yeah.
two, though, the trend that is happening is this may not be a fun trend, but a lot of people are trying to DIY their AI, and they are having issues with that. When you think about generative AI, just putting your LLM or a LLM on top of your data warehouse doesn't really work.
Right.
Because what about row level security? What about windowing functions? What about complex I can keep going on and on. But the idea is an LLM is not a silver bullet to putting AI or generative AI. So that's
Absolutely.
people are realizing that. They started these $1 million custom projects and they're realizing, oh, this is not the way to go. That's like asking somebody to build your own iPhone in your garage. It's not going to work. Or you could try. You could try. The third important trend out there is, Shelly, we are moved beyond generative. We are knocking on the door of autonomous AI.
Absolutely.
We are knocking on that door very loudly, and you're going to see a whole slew of agentic interfaces, AI agents for analytics, for BI, getting unleashed in the market. We are doing a lot of work in that area. We'll talk more about it. And fourth trend is business users are revolting. There's a revolution brewing out there because they're like, all these things are still not giving me the insights I need where I need them.
Right.
So now CDOs and CIOs are being held to a higher business standard. Is we need actionable insights where we work versus a central portal somewhere. So you're seeing all these culminations. That's why analytics continues to be, or maybe now I was reading a report, the number 3 investment area right after security and AI is
Yeah.
analytics. I'm sure
Absolutely.
number 3 or number 4, it keeps switching. But it's a big imperative.
Yeah.
It's an imperative.
Yeah, no, that's what we're seeing as well. So, when it comes to BI,
Right.
are you seeing specific industry sectors adopting sort of this next gen BI capabilities more rapidly than others?
In fact, it went counter to my expectations. I had expected very progressive tech companies to adopt AI powered BI more. Obviously, I thought, well, that may be the case, but you'll be surprised. I am seeing a much higher uptake from highly regulated industries, from core industries like insurance, like banking, like finance, like pharma. And it makes perfect sense.
It does.
It just, in hindsight, it just makes so obvious. Duh, why didn't I think of this?
Yeah.
But for them, one, knowing everything about your customer is a business priority. Two, they have so much of data. And three, AI actually allows them to be having the insights they need to serve their customers better. So I think so. I'm seeing a big uptake in what I would classify as more traditional industry segments like banking, finance, insurance, maybe more risk averse, if you may.
Mhm.
But I'm seeing a faster adoption rate in those areas a lot. The
Well,
other,
oh,
just
sorry, go ahead.
no, no, just to conclude on that point, but there's also the how of the adoption is very important. They are adopting this by putting the AI powered BI, let's just call it that, not as a dashboard on the side, but inside their own customer experiences.
Yeah.
So, for example, we have a customer, an insurance customer, that has put ThoughtSpot as a part of their own product. So, their customers are getting the data. So, the data is not restricted to the four walls of your enterprise. But how do you have that data and insights elevate the customer experience of your customer? And I think so that's the very important trend we are seeing.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And I feel like I mention this in every conversation I have these days, but a couple of, I don't know, within the last month, I was at an analyst forum event that was put on by the team at WebEx at Cisco.
Oh, okay.
And one of the things that one of the AI product managers was talking about that really resonated with me is he said, when we talk about AI, we talk about productivity and efficiency, and we laser in on those things, but I think we're really missing the most important point. And the most important thing there is creating better experiences, and that's exactly what you're talking about here. Better experiences for data analysts who need access to and the ability to extract insights from data to
Correct.
help better serve their customers. In your example that you just said, being able to let customers have access to that themselves. But it really is, and I really thought that was such a salient observation. Let's quit focusing, because productivity and efficiency, those are byproducts. But what we're really talking about is creating better experiences across the board.
Yeah, maybe the title of the show should be AI is the new UI.
I like it. I like it. I like it. So let's talk a little bit now, if we can, about customers. So we
Right.
talked about this a little bit. I think it's safe to say most organizations, certainly at the enterprise level, are using some sort of a BI tool, and but there are lots of challenges. And I think that what we're looking at in the industry today is that every organization is finding themselves with these massive volumes of data that they need to be able to manage and store and access and share access to, and all of that sort of thing. But let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you're seeing and hearing from customers with the current state of their BI solutions. And I know one of them is this dashboard, as a solution, and it's not a solution. But are there other challenges that they're wrestling with that you talk with them about?
Oh, it's absolutely. I mean, we are very fortunate that we have this amazing group of more than 1,000 global customers
Yeah.
that we can tap into. They're using ThoughtSpot, but they are also not just customers, they are advisors. They are guiding where this world is going. So we listen to them very closely, whether it's Snowflake, whether it's Cigna, whether it's Schneider Electric, whether it's
Yeah.
Unilever. All of these companies are guiding us. And two or three things stand out in all these conversations. I won't name the name of the customer because it's a little bit of an embarrassing statistic. But a customer told me, Ketan, they have this very large Fortune 100 company, very, very large. They said we have more than 180,000 dashboards that we maintain in our company.
That's awful.
And there
I,
was no reason for this person to make it up. I mean, this person's actually in charge of breaking all this down.
yeah.
And
180,000?
they inventoried everything. They actually inventoried, they have more than 6 or 7 different products, all trying to do a little bit differently. And then when you think of it, you realize that for every question that the business user asks, the analyst ends up creating one more dashboard or adding a filter. Have you seen those dashboards with many filters on the top? Have you seen those things like,
Yes.
or like different versions of the same dashboard with one small component added to it or removed from it? You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to fixate too much on it. The point I'm trying to make is this idea of what they have told us is self-service is not at all self-service. It's a hoax. It's not. What we end up doing is just creating more. So we hear that a lot from them, a challenge they are facing. Two is, and I'm sure this is probably universal, is just data readiness. We get a lot of feedback from our customers on help us get a better handle on our data and how can we be data ready, how can we be AI ready, what are
Yeah.
the things we need to do to get ready. And three, I think so what they're also seeing is they don't want to have incremental progress on this, they want a new paradigm. And a lot of my customers are now saying, I need data apps. We are moving into the world of data apps, wherein the application you are using has the insight you need. You don't need to go some other dashboard to get the insight. It's like, how do I give you an example? When you're using your iPhone or an Android phone, whatever, the data is guiding your experience of that application. based on your calendar, it pops up where to go. And it tells you, well, this is the direction for your next map. Based on some past interactions, it will pop up something. This idea of guided experiences is taking center stage. It's no longer about just tell me what is happening in my business. That's mildly interesting. Guide me towards a better outcome. And they want us to help do that. And finally, we are also talking very, very keenly. In fact, we have something coming out spring on this topic, is this idea of an autonomous enterprise, where an enterprise is a group of business workflows. A lot of those workflows can be driven autonomously, not automated, autonomously, by the insights and the feedback loop of your organization. So we are actually talking to some customers about the autonomous enterprise. So the word analytics and the word BI, it's no longer your grandfather's BI. This is a whole another era of what I call AI that's going to drive BI in an enterprise. There's lots more, but this is the best part of my job. All I do is I talk to customers, I take all their ideas, and it's all of their ideas which we build in our product. So that's what
Yeah.
we.
I love that. I love that. So, to summarize, the challenges that businesses are facing, and this is, I think, true of almost any business, is that the enterprise data is complex and there's a massive amount of it.
Mhm,
And we have a need to be able to access data and to be able to share data
mhm,
from different locations. And and we also have a distributed workforce, right? So we need to be able to provide access to data across the organization to the people who need it. And the other thing I think that is incredibly important as we're talking about all things AI is that
right,
we've got the reality that we absolutely have to have what we call kind of enterprise grade trust built into the solutions, the solutions that we're adding to our tech stack. And when we're talking about AI, we need to be able to have explainability be a foundational part of that solution. So I think that, those things, any data, any questions, adapting to your business, providing insights where you are not having to go to the same dashboard somebody else might be using, and then having that enterprise grade trust and
right.
explainability built in. I think that's really what we're looking at today in terms of the holy grail of, what businesses are focusing on.
You hit the right word, trust, but the word that comes before trust is transparency.
Yeah.
I think so. What we focus on is no black box. I think so. Transparency is really important for the adoption of AI. Otherwise, it becomes like, how you have those tricks you do in a cocktail party, and it's kind of funny, but that's all it is. Transparency is important. I'll give you a concrete example of it. Like when you have an AI agent, and we'll talk about agents in a bit, is give you an answer to your question. You should be able to see the SQL it used to generate that answer so that you can independently, if you want, verify that is the right answer or not.
Yeah.
That's an example of transparency, or how the tokens were parameterized. So I think so. This is a very important. We focus a lot on the coolness of the AI, and I'm very happy you went to trust right away, because I think so. The biggest feature of an AI system is trust.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
not, it's not the algorithm and how cool my algorithm is or how many GPUs I use to train it. That's all good. We should talk about that. But trust is maybe the number one differentiator in
Yeah.
this.
Well, I mean, think about it. We're we're making business decisions based on what this AI working alongside us is, helping us get to. So we have to be able to trust in it. So it makes perfect sense. Well, I want to talk now a little bit about ThoughtSpot. And
Mm,
I know that the company, I mean, you've been there 60 plus days, but I know that the company has had an amazing year,
mhm,
exceeding 40% year over year SaaS growth for fiscal year 2024, 150 million in ARR. I think that I'm pretty close that the company has about 900 employees. You've got a global presence with locations all over the Bay Area, Chicago, London, Germany,
mhm.
Australia, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kolkata, lots of different places. The company has raised a small sum of $674 million to date,
Wow.
valued at 4.2 billion.
Right.
So that's an amazing ride. Obviously with the shift toward LLMs and AI, the business intelligence landscape has been invigorated. We can see this by this growth. So I want to talk a little bit, if you would, about the role that you see ThoughtSpot playing here and how you're capitalizing on it. So, but before you answer that question, just share with us, if you would,
Mhm.
what is ThoughtSpot
Mhm.
and what does it do?
That's perfect. I'll tell you, the mission of ThoughtSpot is to create a fact-driven world. And that world for us encompasses businesses and enterprises, but also encompasses our community and and everything around it. We see data as a change agent for the world. And we really aspire, maybe utopian aspiration is to have more facts in our world. And the company, it's had a phenomenal ride thanks to all our employees, our
Yeah.
teams, our customers, our ecosystem partners. But the heart of the promise of the company has been always about there just has to be a better way of finding the answers from your data. And the better way is, well, guess what? You should just be able to talk to your data. Maybe that's the better way. Maybe
Yeah.
that's the more human way. You see, humans don't speak data, and data doesn't speak human. But ThoughtSpot helps bridge that gap. And we do that on any data for any question. We do that by learning about your business, and we do that in an enterprise grade trust fashion. And that's why you're seeing the growth you are seeing of more than 40% year over year. We are very happy and proud of that growth. More than 1,000 customers. We have more than 980 spotters. We call ourselves spotters, Shelly, all over. And I'm just blessed with an incredible team. And it's the best chapter of ThoughtSpot has just started. The growth you're seeing is because of how AI and what the promise of ThoughtSpot was has now become the de facto expectation. So the timing couldn't be better.
Well, I agree. So my question now is we started out talking about self-service BI solutions and how in many ways they are kind of a joke.
Yes.
But ThoughtSpot actually enables companies to deliver on that self-service front. So talk with me a little bit about how you do that.
I'll tell you two things. Number one is you're right. Self service is a joke. It's kind of a hoax because self service means go create your own dashboards, and nobody wants to create more dashboards.
Right,
The
right.
idea of ThoughtSpot was wait, hold on. You have a question. How am I able to index? It all started with a very simple premise. What does Google for enterprise data look like? How do I just ask my question and get my answer? Now, it's very easy to say it, but it's much harder because when you ask Google a question, it gives you 20 answers, right? Like you
Right.
ask a question. But when you say, what is my revenue this year? I cannot give you 20 answers. I have to give you one answer because BI has to be deterministic. So it's not like you can just take an indexing thing and build it on top of it. That is why what is the heart of ThoughtSpot has been the relational analytics search engine that we have built that allows you to look across all your data and perform complex analytical functions on it, all the while masking all that from your users. Because to your users, all they're doing is asking the question, which product had a higher growth rate and why? And now, with the advent of generative, we always were leaders in AI, but now with the advent of generative AI, we have taken that conversational capability to whole another level because now we can do semantic questions. So, for example, the future for us, the key of ThoughtSpot is ThoughtSpot understands human behavior and language and businesses. So, when you ask ThoughtSpot a question, show me total sales for warm clothing. ThoughtSpot knows warm clothing is ABC products and answers that versus you having another filter. So there's a lot going on, but more importantly, I think so. Why people are trusting ThoughtSpot is is the underlying enterprise scale. The reason we say any data is because it's not like your data has to be in a small format. Big, we can handle large multi gigabyte volumes of data at any place, whether you're using Snowflake, whether you're using Google BigQuery, whether you're on prem, and all the above.
Yeah.
When you add all of these things, we are at a very interesting point because we're taking all of that and now we are knocking on the door of autonomous agents. We'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a lot exciting things happening with ThoughtSpot right now.
So I know that I believe that ThoughtSpot has two products. One is the ThoughtSpot Analytics product, which
Mhm,
is this self-service
mhm,
delivery, to analysts and business users. But there's also another product called ThoughtSpot Embedded,
mhm.
which is really unique in and of itself. So I would love to talk for you to share with me about how companies are able to embed ThoughtSpot and get value. Actually, I think they can monetize
Correct.
this. So
Correct.
talk us through that a little bit, if you would.
It's an excellent point. It goes back to the trend we talked about, wherein customers are using data to transform the experience they are giving their customers. So it's about serving your customer. I'll give you a great example. Guidewire is an insurance technology provider, and it's a great company.
Right.
They are also our customer. They are using ThoughtSpot inside of the Guidewire app to provide data, insights, and intelligence to their customers. So that's what we call ThoughtSpot Embedded or
Yeah.
ThoughtSpot Everywhere. And this is why what you're seeing happening is, or for example, we have a large telecom provider. They want to provide insights to their customers in their retail applications. So that's what embedded means. But what does embedded mean? Embedded means taking the insights and embedding it in the customer's workflow to drive better customer experiences. And you, as my customer, can decide to monetize it as a part of your application or give it as a service as a part of your
Right.
application.
Right.
But it becomes what we think of ourselves is ThoughtSpot is becoming the foundation of the business application
Yeah.
customers are unleashing to their customers.
Yeah, I think that I can think about, pitching this to companies, and you make a very valid point. You can monetize this, but you could also choose to not monetize it and just serve up better experiences. So I think that that's incredibly attractive. Very, very cool.
It is our
So
fastest growing product, by the way.
of course it is.
In this
I mean, it
40%
makes perfect sense.
like really exciting how many companies are embracing this idea of data apps.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've talked a little bit about your customers, and I know you mentioned a couple of times that ThoughtSpot serves over 1,000 global customers, commercial enterprise, large enterprises. I know that you've got customers spanning the Fortune 100. I know you've got customers in healthcare, life sciences, banking and financial services, that sort of thing. And I know that you've also got customers, I mean, you mentioned some of them: Snowflake, Cigna,
Like,
banks, all different kinds of things like that. So I'm really interested in, how you are thinking about, where are there any industries that you don't focus on or serve, or are you saying that this is a solution across industries? Come and let us talk with you about what we can do for you. Is that really how you're positioning this?
yeah, I mean, we are positioning this as, we are your enterprise intelligence platform.
Okay.
ThoughtSpot is your complete intelligence platform from insights to data applications to driving growth in your company. Now, by just the nature of our go to market, we are in the industries where we are and we are being focused about it.
Right.
But I'll tell you, just to make a point, uh, I also see non governmental organizations should be using ThoughtSpot. We have not really gone there yet, and we want to. I also see a lot of industries where we need to go deeper and wider. But I feel like any company that has data and needs insights to drive better business solutions, ThoughtSpot is your intelligence platform for
Right.
it.
Well, yeah, that's kind of any company, right?
Correct.
So, but on that front too, I know that a part of the ThoughtSpot value prop that has really interested me since our early conversations is the fact that you're cloud agnostic.
Correct.
And so you partner with pretty much all of the cloud data platforms as well as others in the modern data stack. And so share with me a little bit, if you would, about this cloud agnostic approach and why it's so compelling for customers.
Because I think so. It's a very important point because what we want to do is don't impose unnecessary burden of moving data on our customers.
Okay.
So there is fundamentally our architecture is we are a modern born cloud intelligence platform, right? So we are on Google, we are on Amazon, we are on. So if you're using those as your hyperscalers, or
Right.
you're on Microsoft, or you some customers hybrid, we have a capability to even work with some of your hybrid data while ThoughtSpot is in the cloud. So that's really important. Two, we are seeing a big effort by customers to using cloud data warehouses, whether they use Google, Snowflake, Redshift, Azure, and we have what we call strategic partnerships with all of them. The idea is to make infrastructure a no-brainer. For us, we don't want our customers worrying about systems and infrastructure. We want them to be focused on delivering value. So we fit within the infrastructure gamut of what they have. And that's actually one of the reasons we are seeing the growth.
Yeah.
If CNA is saying as a part of their cloud strategy, they are moving to Google, well, then we are on Google. And for them, it is a matter of simply using us versus worrying about how do I put my BI into Google.
Right.
So I think so that's a great way of thinking about it.
Well, I think strategically, simply meeting customers where they are and not requiring them to jump over hurdles to be able to work with you, I think that is incredibly important.
Incredible.
And sounds like you're doing just that.
Yeah.
So you are in a market that is not, it's a crowded market, crowded ecosystem. How do you differentiate ThoughtSpot from your competitors in the BI market?
It's a very important point you're raising. And I think so the biggest way we differentiate ourselves is through the stories of our customers. Our biggest salespeople are our customers, customers who have used our product and are seeing value. So I want to give a big hat tip to my customers. But number two for me is look, and I mean this with utmost humility, Shelley, is it's a little bit of an apples and oranges comparison. It's like comparing a flip phone to an iPhone. We don't really compete in a better charts market. We are competing in let me help you show how you can drive more sales growth with data. Let me show you how you can drive more customer satisfaction with data. Let me tell you how you can make your company a data driven organization. And let me tell you how you can finally let business users get the insights they want by simply asking the question and not requiring, or let me show you how I can save you money by eliminating this dreaded BI backlog. Have you heard of the term BI backlogs?
I
Like,
have.
yeah, and it's like the backlog. So that's the conversation we have. And when customers see the product, I tell you the best way for us to communicate value is we show the product and not slides.
Yeah.
You see Spotter in action, you're like, whoa, that's a game changer. I
Yeah.
can do that. And the conversation then doesn't become like, do you have that two features my old product had or not? It's more about where can I deploy, what use cases can I use? So um, I feel, look, we are not trying to build a better flip phone. We have built a new way of doing intelligence in the market, and that's ThoughtSpot. But at the same time, yeah, we end up seeing a lot of these existing players, and it's just a matter of focusing on business outcomes and not more charts.
Yeah, I love it. Well, as we wrap the show, I feel
Right.
like that you've already given me all of the pieces to this answer, but I'm going to let you answer it anyway. So, as we wrap the show, share with me what you're most excited about ahead for you and the team at ThoughtSpot and your customers.
Uh, that's a great way to wrap. I'll tell you, we are entering the next upgrade super cycle for BI.
Yeah. Yeah.
The old tools cannot just jerry rig those old tools anymore. You need a completely different strategy. And that's why I'm so excited that ThoughtSpot has launched our AI analytics agent, Spotter. And that is very exciting because it's a completely new paradigm in the world of BI. And Spotter is the AI agent that we have launched. Our customers are very excited about it. What I'm also really looking forward to is growing our community. Thousands of customers are using the product and informing the product. And what's driving our innovation is their ideas and this virtuous cycle wherein we don't have the baggage of the past as some other tools do. We are creating a brand new future based on AI. And that's very exciting. And that's what we are looking forward to.
I love that. We don't have the baggage of the past. We're creating the BI of the future. I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome. Very exciting. Well, Ketan Karkhanis, CEO of ThoughtSpot, thank you so much for joining me today. I told you when I launched the show that I was so looking forward to this conversation. I have been a fan of what you and the team at ThoughtSpot are doing since you introduced me to the company and the product a few weeks ago. And so I'm so glad you could make time for me today and really appreciate you sharing your thinking and your insights. It's exciting for sure.
Oh yeah, and you are, well, we really appreciate the chance to come speak to you and your viewers to you. We are growing fast, and but stay in touch with us. I want to hear from all of you.
Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
want folks to tell us what we could do better.
Absolutely. To our viewers and listening audience, this is Shelley Kramer from Kramer& Company Research. Thank you so much for joining us today for our coverage of enterprise and emerging tech news. And if you've not yet hit that subscribe button, we'd love for you to do so. And we'll see you back here next time.